The book that screamed at exactly 3:03 a.m. in the city of Telvisar Prime, which may or may not be real. A man named Kellan Wint borrowed a book from a library that didn't technically exist. The book had no title, only a whisper. When he opened it, it screamed, not from the pages, but inside his mind. Not loud, worse, familiar. It was his own voice, begging him not to read further, so naturally he did. Welcome to the Unlibrary. Kellan woke up somewhere else, not in bed, not on Earth. He stood in a corridor made of bone-white shelves that twisted upward into an impossible sky. Books floated, some growled, some wept ink. A sign above his head blinked, "Welcome to the library at the end of the universe. We file dreams by scream level." And then a voice, calm and polite, "You've been overdue for quite some time." He turned. Behind the desk sat a woman with no face, made entirely of bookmarks. Her name tag read, Marla, head librarian, currently imagined. The rules of unreading Marla offered him tea. It smelled like childhood and forgot to do your homework. She explained, "The library stores every thought never written, every story never told, every possibility abandoned halfway through a sentence. And you, dear Kellan, have been very irresponsible with your imagination. Apparently, every time he gave up on an idea, it came here, and the library was getting full." "What happens when it's too full?" he asked. "Reality buckles." The book that birthed a planet. Marla handed him a glowing tome titled Kellan Wint and the Moon That Forgot It Was a Moon. He flipped through the pages and remembered. Age 11, a short story he abandoned about a sentient moon named Clarence who wanted to be a son. Now in the library, Clarence was real, orbiting Section X-51. Sobbing space lava. "You need to finish what you start," Marla said, "or the library will." The shelf of unborn ewes Marla led him to a dark, narrow corridor lined with mirrors. But the mirrors didn't reflect him. They reflected versions of him who could have been. Kellan the interstellar pirate. Kellan the sandwich inventor who ended world hunger. Kellan the villain in a novel never published. Each stood still except one. One Kellan stepped forward and whispered, "You don't belong here. I do." Then he stepped out of the mirror. Reality dueled two Kellans, one real, one imagined. The library didn't interfere. It thrived on conflict. It fed on narrative tension. The two fought not with fists but with memories. Every forgotten dream became a weapon. The real Kellan unleashed a storm of unfinished novels. The mirror Kellan countered with a black hole made of high school poetry. The library began to shake. Reality blurred. One of them had to go. The librarian breaks character. Marla clapped her hands, which were now erasers. "Enough." She turned to Kellan. "You are not real." "Excuse me? You're a character in someone else's imagination, a story told and forgotten." Kellan staggered. "Then who's dreaming me?" Marla smiled. "We don't know, but they're reading again." She pointed upward. Above them you were watching. Rewrite protocol. Marla offered him a pen made from moonlight and deadlines. "You can write yourself out. One chance, one ending. Make it count." Kellan nodded. He wrote, and then the character realized that being imaginary wasn't a curse, but a freedom, because ideas once written never truly die. The library feasts. The library, pleased, began absorbing the mirror Kellan into its shelves. His last words were, "I could have been better." And maybe he would be. In another story, on another shelf. Marla winked, reshaping herself into a typewriter. "You've earned a reprieve." Epilogue. The book of you back in the real world, or something like it. Kellan awoke at his desk, fingers hovering above a blank page. But this time he wrote. He didn't stop for coffee. He didn't stop for fear. And somewhere far away, in a library made of stars and regret, a new book slid onto a shelf. Its spine read, "You."